Now, I think what's really great about Episode 9 so far is that J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio have this big plan in order to incorporate a lot of Jedi and Sith lore as a way of moving the characters of Rey and Kylo Ren forward in the plot of this movie. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one aspect of Episode 9 that a lot of people are very curious about has all to do with the Jedi and Sith lore that will be used for one of the personal missions of Rey and Kylo Ren in Star Wars Episode 9. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, it reveals the identity of a new Sith Lord in Star Wars Episode 9 in the form of Sith lore. Specifically, a description of Rey inside of the Lost City within the Sith location and runes that hold many secrets and history of the ancient ways of the Sith. It's described that Rey is standing in front of two statues that are dubbed as the Forbidden Jedi, described to be the first batch of Sith that turned to the dark side and became Sith Lords. The next goes over Rey turning around and witnessing a taller statue behind her that is said to have been built hundreds of years before the days of the Empire's rule, to where the sequence is described as Rey discovers the statue of Darth Natsu. It's said that the sculpture of this Sith Lord was modeled from the dark side worshippers that then transferred it over to the Sith runes sometime after his death. It's described that this sculpture of the Sith is holding what appears to be two lightsaber hilts that are both different in design in each hand. So I want to go over a couple of parts about all of this and as to why I am so excited about the Jedi and Sith lore being a thing in the Lost City for Episode 9 by JJ. Now, first things first, I want to go over this new character in the form of a Sith sculpture that is actually dubbed as Darth Natsu. Now, I'm not quite sure if there's a real meaning to this name or anything like that, but notice how the name is, of course, Darth, and this is actually a Sith that once lived hundreds of years before the events of course, the original and the prequels. So, with that being said, we do know that the new Star Wars trilogy is actually going to take place hundreds of years before the Skywalker saga, apparently, and that it is going to be based within the Old Republic. So, if that is indeed the case, alright, this is most definitely one of J.J. Abrams' ways of really connecting Episode 9 to the new Star Wars trilogy without a doubt. We do know that this film is going to have a light and loose connection to the new Star Wars trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. So, we do know that this movie is going to have a lot of connections to not only the expanded universe, but also a lot of connections to the originals and the prequels. And what better way to do it from the Legends material than to incorporate a lot of Sith lore and Sith statues and history of the Sith and stuff like that. So, like I say, this whole entire Lost City mission for Rey, it seems like it really is going to be quite important. Just recently we went over the entrance of the Lost City that is described to be a cave full of blue crystals and like blue flying insects and stuff like that. An original idea for The Force Awakens that never made it to the final version of that movie. So, this new character named Darth Natsu, alright, though he is not alive, he is dead, but in the form of a sculpture, fans will finally get to actually get a glimpse of a Sith Lord that goes by the name of Darth. Now, this character, Darth Natsu, like I say, lived hundreds of years before the events of the Empire's rule, and was actually transferred over to the Sith runes by dark side worshippers sometime after his death when it comes to his sculpture. So, with that being said, J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, we do know that they did a lot of studying when it comes to the Legends material in order to really make a lot of Easter eggs in this movie that a lot of hardcore fans are going to notice. Now, without a doubt, some of these new characters that we have been hearing about, like the Light Sith, the Forbidden Jedi, this statue called Darth Natsu, some of the other ones like the First Jedi, also known as Nalar, all these different characters, right, I think are really going to be shown in the new trilogy while they are alive and well. And that this is Disney and Lucasfilm's way of really kind of giving us a segue from Episode 9 into the new Star Wars trilogy and getting somewhat familiar with, of course, the Jedi and Sith characters that are set to appear in the new Star Wars movies by David and DB. So, what I like about everything related to Episode 9 so far is how the Jedi and Sith lore is going to be used in a way to evolve the characters of Rey and Kylo Ren in this story. And that, to me, I think it speaks volumes by JJ. It tells me that he's very ambitious about this movie. It also tells us that, Terrio did indeed do his homework on, everything related to the Jedi and Sith, and how that's going to be used in Episode 9 as a way to close the Skywalker saga in a satisfying way. So nonetheless, guys, I am really hyped to see what this is actually going to look like on the big screen and in the final cut of the movie, and exactly, what this location is going to look like actually on the big screen. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.